Alright everyone, so since I'm not back yet, I want to show you a few examples of how to simplify radicals. I'm going to show you a few different ways to do it. And I'm not going to start with number one. Number one is pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and look at number two. So there's a few different ways to look at this. The first way to do it is to just start breaking down what's under your radical into its what we call prime factorization. So you think of what two numbers you can multiply together to get to 84. And you can start with any two numbers that would multiply to give you 84. If you pick two different numbers than what I picked and they still multiply to give you 84, you're still going to get the same answer in the end. So I know that 2 times 42 is equal to 84, so that's what I'm going to start with. Now I'm going to circle the 2 because it's a prime number, okay? Now 42 is not prime. I can break it down again. I can break it down into 6 and 7. And 7 is a prime number. I'm actually going to do it in a different color. You'll see why in a second. And then I can break down the 6 into 3 and 2, both of which are prime numbers. So this is what's called a number's prime factorization. That means that if you multiplied these three circled numbers together, that would give you 84, okay? So now that we've completely broken down the number, here is how you go ahead and write the radical, all right? So anything that pairs up gets to leave as one of itself, okay? So we have a 2 and a 2. These are a pair, okay? So that pair gets to leave the radical. And anything that pairs up gets to leave, any pair of 2. And then when there's multiple pairs, you multiply them together. And that's what you write on the outside of the radical. Now on the inside of the radical, it's going to be the product of any prime factors that were not paired up, any left over, so the 7 and the 3, all right? So that's going to give me a 2 radical 21, okay? And that's our final answer. All right, so another way you could have went about this question is you try to think of the largest perfect square number that will go into 84. So when I'm talking about perfect square numbers, I'm talking about 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, and 100, and so on. Okay, all the numbers that are the product of two of the same number. So like 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3. That's where these numbers are coming from, all right? So you think of the biggest one that's going to go into your number right here, all right? So you know we're not going to be going anywhere above the 81. We know certainly doesn't go into 84 evenly. 64 doesn't go in evenly. 49 doesn't. 36 doesn't. And you can test these out by doing the division in a calculator. This one does not. 4 goes into 81, right? So we basically divide 84 by 4. And that results in the number 21. So we know that the product of the square root of 4 and the product of the square root of 21 would be equal to the square root of 84, right? But we can leave it in this form right here and simplify